Imagine a world where the map is nearly complete, yet vast, shadowy corners still harbor creatures that defy conventional biology and challenge our understanding of Earth's history. We pride ourselves on having explored every inch of this planet, cataloging millions of species. But the persistence of certain legends suggests we might be missing something truly massive. What if some of Earth's largest creatures didn't vanish during the Pleistocene megafauna extinction, but simply learned how to avoid us, hiding in the last truly inaccessible wildernesses? Today, we are diving into the heart of the Amazon basin to investigate the mapinguari, a creature that bridges the gap between terrifying folklore and potential biological reality. To understand the mapinguari, we must first look at the human psyche and why we are wired to believe in monsters lurking just beyond the edge of our campfire light. Indigenous tribes across the Amazon have passed down stories of this beast for centuries, describing a towering, shaggy creature that smells of decay and possesses unnatural durability. These accounts aren't merely ghost stories, they are detailed ecological observations woven into cultural narratives, serving as warnings about specific, dangerous regions of the rainforest. The mystery persists because the Amazon remains one of the most biodiverse yet least explored places on Earth, a green ocean where a giant mammal could feasibly remain undetected. The strongest evidence for the mapinguari comes not from grainy photographs, but from remarkably consistent eyewitness reports that describe specific, unusual physical characteristics of the beast. Witnesses often describe a creature covered in thick, matted fur, capable of walking on two legs, but possessing a terrifying feature that seems biologically impossible: a mouth on its stomach. This peculiar anatomical detail has led some researchers to wonder if the accounts are describing a genuine biological trait or a terrifying misinterpretation of a known, yet strange, animal. Physical traces are rare, but reports of massive inward-turning footprints have surfaced, suggesting a creature that moves slowly but with immense power through the dense undergrowth. Historically, these reports were dismissed as mere superstition, but the consistency across isolated communities suggests a shared experience of something very real to those who encounter it. Modern science steps in not to prove the myth, but to analyze the ecological feasibility of such a large, undetected creature surviving in the modern Amazonian ecosystem. Researchers, such as biologist David Oren, have explored the possibility that the mapinguari is not a fictional monster, but a living remnant of prehistoric megafauna from the Americas. The primary candidate for this biological identity is the megatherium, or giant ground sloth, a massive creature that coexisted with early humans before vanishing thousands of years ago. Imagine a creature the size of an elephant, covered in thick fur and armored with dermal ossicles, small bones embedded in its skin, making it almost impervious to arrows or teeth. While the megatherium is officially extinct, the sheer scale of the Amazon allows for the possibility of a small, relict population surviving in the most remote, unmapped areas. However, the scientific method demands more than just stories. It requires tangible evidence like DNA samples, fossilized remains, or clear photographic proof to confirm a new species. Despite extensive efforts, the physical evidence for the mapinguari remains frustratingly inconclusive, leaving us walking the fine line between scientific skepticism and the possibility of discovery. If the mapinguari is a megatherium, we have to look closer at how a creature that large survives without being officially documented by modern ecological surveys and camera traps. The answer may lie in the sheer scale of the Amazon, an ecosystem so immense that its deepest, most rugged terrains have remained largely untouched by human industrial activity. Ecological modeling suggests that even a small population of large mammals would require vast amounts of territory to find enough food, pushing them into the most inaccessible areas. If a ground sloth survived, it likely adapted to a strictly nocturnal lifestyle, becoming a phantom of the forest, active only when human activity is at its absolute minimum. This adaptation would make it nearly impossible for traditional conservation efforts designed to spot monkeys or jaguars to detect a giant, slow-moving creature hidden in the dense understory. Furthermore, the mapinguari's legendary defense mechanism, a foul odor, could be a biological deterrent against predators and, accidentally, a deterrent against curious human researchers searching for them. This brings us to the crucial part of the mystery. What happens when science confronts the possibility that eyewitnesses are seeing something that current biology says cannot exist? Some zoologists suggest that we might be seeing a classic case of misidentification where a known animal is magnified by cultural fear and the dramatic nature of the environment. The anteater, for example, is a large, shaggy creature that can stand on its hind legs and possesses massive claws, looking surprisingly monstrous when viewed from a distance. Could the mapinguari simply be a giant anteater or perhaps a large spectacled bear whose features have been distorted through generations of storytelling and campfire embellishments? This is where the narrative shifts from biological search to psychological investigation, examining how fear shapes our perception of the unknown and fills gaps in our understanding. However, the specific details of the mapinguari stories, the stomach, mouth, the immunity to bullets, often seem too precise and consistent to be explained away merely as misidentified anteaters. This forces us to reconsider the limitations of our own knowledge and ask if we are too quick to dismiss cultural knowledge that doesn't fit into neat academic categories. Perhaps the mistake lies in assuming that all undiscovered creatures must fit perfectly into our existing phylogenetic trees, rather than accepting they may be evolutionary outliers. The tension between eyewitness testimony and physical proof is the engine that drives cryptozoology, a field that constantly struggles for legitimacy within the broader scientific community. If we treat legends as questions rather than jokes, we open the door to unexpected discoveries that could redefine our understanding of prehistoric survival in the modern world. The search for the mapinguari is, in essence, a search for the limits of our own knowledge, testing the boundaries between the known world and the mysterious wilderness. Our relationship with nature is often defined by a desire to control and classify it, making the idea of an uncontrolled, unclassified giant both terrifying and incredibly compelling. We are compelled to look because the thought that such a massive creature could evade us reminds us that the world is still vast, strange, and fundamentally beyond our understanding. As we look deeper into the shadows of the Amazon, we must ask ourselves if we are looking for a monster or if we are looking for ourselves. As we push further into the unknown, we must acknowledge that science is not just about discovering new species, but about challenging the limits of our own perception. The mapinguari myth reminds us that humanity has always lived alongside mysteries, and that our ancestors often possessed a more nuanced, albeit metaphorical, understanding of their environment. If this creature is merely a cultural construct, it still holds immense value as a reflection of our deepest fears, our respect for the unknown, and our complex relationship with nature. Yet, the potential for a biological reality drives dedicated researchers to scour the rainforest, using everything from DNA sequencing of soil samples to sophisticated acoustic monitoring technologies. Scientists like David Oren have argued that even if the ground sloth theory is incorrect, the reports are too numerous and consistent to be dismissed as simple misidentification. They point out that in a place as vast as the Amazon, there are still ecological niches that have not been surveyed, leaving room for large, cryptic species to exist. This search requires us to be humble, to admit that our scientific catalogues are incomplete, and to accept that the natural world still holds secrets that refuse to be classified. The journey to find the mapinguari is a testament to human curiosity, a relentless urge to explore the last remaining frontiers, both on our planet and beyond it. We are not just looking for a ground sloth, we are looking for the edge of the known, the point where science meets mystery and where logic is tested by legend. The Amazon remains a green ocean, a place where myths can become biology and where the shadows of the past still walk among us, hidden in plain sight. What we need is not just more cameras, but a new approach, a merging of indigenous knowledge with modern ecological tools to truly understand the depths of this immense ecosystem. If we find the mapinguari, it will be a miracle of conservation. If we don't, the search itself will have taught us valuable lessons about the biodiversity we have yet to discover. This challenge highlights the tension between our desire for definitive answers and the reality that nature is often chaotic, unpredictable, and far more complex than our models suggest. The mapinguari exists in the space between what we know and what we fear, a phantom species that challenges the very definitions of extinction and survival in a changing world. As we continue our investigation, we are learning that the true monster is not in the jungle, but in our arrogance to believe we already know everything about our planet. Every expedition into the Amazon brings new discoveries, new questions, and new insights into the incredible resilience of life in one of Earth's most challenging environments. The story of the Mapinguari is ultimately a story about hope. The hope that the world is still large enough to contain mysteries and that we are still curious enough to find them. It reminds us to look beyond the surface, to listen to the stories told by those who live in the wilderness, and to treat the unknown with respect rather than ridicule. Whether it is a ground sloth, a giant anteater, or something entirely new, the search for the Mapinguari is a search for our own place in the natural world. We stand on the precipice of understanding, looking into the darkness, wondering what will look back at us from the depths of the Amazonian night. The search for the Mapinguari might seem like a niche pursuit, but it is deeply connected to a broader human endeavor, mapping the unknown, both physically and intellectually. These legends, whether based on living creatures or cultural memory, serve as a mirror reflecting our own curiosity and our innate need to find meaning in the vastness of nature. They remind us that the world is not merely a collection of data points to be organized, but a living, breathing entity that still holds the power to surprise us. As technology advances, allowing us to scan the jungle floor from orbit and sequence DNA from a single drop of water, the gaps in our knowledge are rapidly closing. Yet this technological prowess brings a new responsibility: to protect the very environments that harbor these mysteries, ensuring they are not destroyed before they can be understood. The Mapinguari stands as a guardian of the unknown, a symbol of the untamed Amazon that demands our respect, caution, and a willingness to acknowledge our own limitations. It teaches us that science is not a finished book, but an ongoing dialogue between human inquiry and the complex reality of the natural world surrounding us. Ultimately, the true value of investigating such mysteries lies not just in finding a creature, but in the journey of discovery itself and what it reveals about humanity. We are driven by a fundamental curiosity, a relentless need to understand the cosmic blip of our existence against the backdrop of an unimaginably ancient and strange planet. The shadows in the Amazon may contain a giant sloth, or they may contain only the echoes of our own fears. But in searching for them, we discover more about ourselves. In the end, the Mapinguari is a testament to the fact that wonder and science are not mutually exclusive, but rather two sides of the same human endeavor to understand the universe. It is a call to look at the world with the curiosity of a child and the rigor of a scientist, treating every unknown as an opportunity for learning. As we close this chapter on the Mapinguari, we are reminded that the world is still vast, strange, and fundamentally beyond our understanding if we are willing to look. The Amazonian night will always harbor secrets, and as long as humans have the capacity for wonder, we will be drawn to those shadows, searching for a glimpse of the unknown. Perhaps the ultimate lesson is that the map is never truly complete, and that the greatest discoveries are often found in the places we dare not look. So, keep looking at the shadows, listen to the legends, and never lose your sense of wonder for the mysterious world we call home. The search continues, not just for a monster in the jungle, but for the boundless potential of human knowledge and the beauty of the undiscovered. We are tiny beings on a pale blue dot, surrounded by a vast universe, and yet our capacity to dream and investigate is our greatest strength. The Mapinguari is more than a myth. It is a question, and the answer is not found in the jungle, but in our willingness to ask it. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep wondering, for the journey of discovery never truly ends.